I've heard accusations of your guys eating deductibles, and honestly, all the big players have that accusation. Every single company is like, and I get them in DMs all the time, like, "Oh, be careful with that guy." They're like, I did Raymond was here, Wendell,
Perimeter.
yeah, Perimeter,
Yeah.
and immediately there are guys eating deductibles right after the interview. What do you answer to those, and what do you do internally about deductibles?
Yeah. So there probably was a time where it was okay, and then the law changed in Texas. And then there probably was a time period where we were still figuring out how to catch it all and improve process and systems and these kind of things. And so has it happened? Absolutely. It's not something we condone right now. It's not something we do have processes in the office to make sure, and we every now and then run reports on deductibles to make sure that stuff's
How
not
many
slipping through the
deductibles?
cracks. Yeah. Because when you get so big and you have so much going on, you're going to have to inspect, and so we do. We run a report every now and then. If we catch some stuff, we handle it, we deal with it, we let them know it's unacceptable. We pay closer attention to that person. It's our goal not to do it at all, right? But sometimes you get a brand new guy start, something happens, he hears something, he says something, it slips through, we catch it, we pull him aside, we have a chat with him, we fix it. It's not something we condone, it's not something we teach, it's not something we preach. There was a time in our early days where we taught how to get around it and how to avoid it and all the rest of it. Absolutely. But as you grow and as you start realizing that you got all these people working for you and you have a sense of responsibility to look after the organization, then you've got to start doing things better. You've got to improve. You've got to grow. And anyone out there, once again, this message is not that we're perfect, because we're not. We still make mistakes. But for those people out there that want to grow, it's about realizing that, hey, here are our gaps. Here are our areas of opportunity. How do we improve on them? What systems and process can we put in place to improve this stuff? Because we all started somewhere. Just like when I came to the country, man, I was illegal. I did something I shouldn't have.
Same here.
I shouldn't have done, right? But then I realized, and I make the right moves, and I improve, and I change, and it's all the path of growth. You look at most successful people out there, and you dig way back, you're going to find some shit that they're not proud of that they did, that they need to change if you want to grow.
But the best way about it is to put it on slip. Recently, I've heard this comedian saying how Donald Trump does it. He's like, he just tells you all it is. And it was such a funny piece. He said, Donald Trump comes out and say, I'm a racist. Like, and if you come at him, it's like, you're a racist. Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
Like, if you've done something, like, okay, use it against me. I told you that I did it. I love the position. I love the honesty. So many business owners trying to hide it, trying not to talk about it. I just love the transparency. What about other behavior? Like, what if you find out that your guys are stealing competitors' yard signs?
Great point. So there was a post last night, actually, on Level the Playing Field.
Okay.
A guy down in Granbury actually posted, one of my guys had come from Florida and he had some of the boards, so he used a Florida board, which he shouldn't have. So there was a lot of back and forth on that too.
So your guy took someone else's yard sign?
We'll get there. So my guy put a sign in the yard. So part of the post was why they're using a Florida licensed board. Well, my guy was doing stuff in Florida. He got some boards with him. He put it in the yard. Shouldn't have. We'll get him switched out. That was part of the post. Number two, look, I wasn't there. You weren't there. However, I think when a hailstorm hits in Texas or Florida or wherever, you got a lot of guys hitting the streets. It can be stressful. There's a lot of people with past and existing customers that new guys are knocking on their doors. And, there's a lot of moving parts. But a guy did post something in Level the Playing Field last night stating that one of my guys stole his customer and stole his board. I was on the plane, actually, when this all happened, and my signal wasn't working. We were flying through a storm. I was actually stressed about it, truthfully. And a couple of other roofing company owners had actually sent me private messages saying, hey, you may want to take a look at this. And as a matter of fact, Steve Soleil actually went on there and said, "Hey, I know these guys. That's not how they run their business." So that was pretty awesome. We landed up calling the customer. We landed up talking to the salesperson, and we actually landed up calling the guy that made the post. After we spoke with him, he actually removed the post. I actually haven't spoken to my guys since they've spoken to him, but I know that he went in and removed the post. I know that we have a full inspection folder on it. We have all the pictures. Our sales professional met the homeowner, met the homeowner's wife, gave us a full story of the conversation. So there's no ways that our guy went there and illegally took the board and replaced it, which is really what the original complaint
accusation
was. Correct. If I were to say something that our guy, without being there, and maybe there's other variables I don't know yet, but if I were to say that there's one thing that our guy did wrong in that situation is even if a homeowner says, "Yes, please place your board," don't go steal the guy's. Don't go take the guy's board. Like you can give it to the homeowner and ask the homeowner to hold it, but to actually take the board is not acceptable.
Respect the sign.
Yeah. There's no need for us to be tacky, but once again, it's not a perfect world. And in some ways, there's always going to be a guy out there that does something silly, right? But here's what we do. Just like you see sometimes guys go and they bash a roofer online and all the consumers jump in on it. And it's like you're hurting our industry. You're making it worse. I'll tell everyone out there, you got a problem with something that one of my guys did? Call me.
Love it.
I'll handle it. Because it's going to happen to you. So how would you like it when one of your people do something wrong that 500 people go bash you on social media? Like, come on, it's not a perfect world. But once again, if it's real and we can work through it and we can fix it, we fix it. Because people are going to do stupid things. I don't care who you are. Don't tell me that you run a squeaky clean, perfect operation and no one ever does anything wrong. We're mature, grown adults. When we have there's an expression that says, life is filled with many situations. They become problems depending on how you handle them.
True.
We will all be faced with many situations. Call me. We'll talk it out. We'll figure it out. If my guy did something wrong and it was bad enough, I'll terminate him. If he did something wrong and it was okay, we'll have a serious chat with him, never to let it happen again. Depending on what the situation is. But I'm gonna handle it. I'm not gonna ignore it. Like we're too big and we have too much responsibility to just ignore stuff and or to handle it in an immature fashion, right? So maybe my message to all the guys out there is like, it's the pot calling the kettle black. Like,
great approach.
Come on. Talk it out. Figure it out. I had a couple of years ago, I actually had an installer jump online. It's like, screw linear roofing. They haven't paid me. But earlier I told you we always pay our people.
Of course.
And we always do. There was a different breakdown in that process, right? And I was in Houston. I called him up and I said, hey, what do mature adults do? They talk, they figure it out, and we fix it. Do we really need to go online and bash each other and expose things to the entire world? And in most cases, who looks bad? We both do. And everyone else gets their popcorn and they enjoy it. They love it. Mm-hmm. This is why controversial movies make so much money.
Of course.
That's why they try and make movies as bloody and as controversial as possible, because the more controversial it is, the more people watch it, right? And people are running to social media and just posting it out there. There's many ways to deal with these things. Social media is not the answer.
If you enjoyed this clip and want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch full episode, go to the description or click right here.